Hey guys! So today we are talking about the month of September in its entirety. We are going to break it down week by week. We are going to look at the most significant energetic astrological days that we have coming up this cycle. We're going to look at the overall themes and what this period of time might be just doing for us generally, collectively, and in the context of our personal lives, and just the emerging patterns that are coming with the way that the energy is unfolding this month. I can tell you guys, we are starting actually on some very positive notes. This is likely to be a much less difficult month than we may have experienced for the past couple of months. There is conflict going on, don't get me wrong, but the main energetic push is towards clarity, awareness, reconsideration, and reconciliation in terms of the issues that we may be dealing with to start the month. And really, some endings and some beginnings may also be represented in the way that the energy is unfolding, but this is marking a shift. We are in a mutable cycle right now, and this is an energy that is sort of helping us to dissolve some of the attachments that, maybe had been keeping us or holding us back from moving forward in a way that is really conducive to our growth and us coming back into a state of alignment with authentic truth. We're really discovering some personal truths this cycle. What is meaningful to us, what is truly valuable to us, and what needs to go, what is standing in the way of us being able to reconfigure, realign our lives in alignment with what is supportive of our process of growth and coming back into alignment with that authentic truth. Very self-empowering cycle, perhaps, where we are gaining a lot of clarity and a lot of awareness. That is generally what's going on, in resolution, reconciliation, also in the vibe. So you guys, let's get into this breakdown of the month of September. Look at what is coming at us, and let's just see, what we might be able to anticipate as this month unfolds. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Thursday, September 1st, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological breakdown for the month of September. Like I said in my intro, we are going to look at this month. We are going to break it down week by week, day by day, look at the important transits that are incoming, the patterns that are playing out, and, on an energetic level, what we might be able to expect as this period of time unfolds. And of course, it is going to be kind of synonymous with what I said about what we had going on in my new moon report for the new moon in Virgo, because there are a lot of the same emerging themes. However, working with the 1st of September, heading through the 30th of September, there is actually a bit of minimized conflict coming through in the specific September play-by-play as opposed to our new moon in Virgo. Now remember, the new moon in Libra will actually be happening within the month of September, so we are going to be ending our new moon in Virgo cycle that started in August this month. We will also have our full moon in Pisces that is going to be happening on the 10th of September. We've got Mercury going retrograde. We've got a square playing out between Mars and Venus. We've got Mars actually coming into a trine with Saturn this cycle. Last cycle, we had Mars in a square with Saturn. This cycle, we're getting the trine, so that's beneficial. We've got the Sun trining Pluto. The main hangups really for this cycle are we've got some oppositions going on to Neptune in the sky. So I'm telling you guys right now, the third week of this month is going to be a bit all over the place. We might just feel kind of like a chicken with our head cut off and feel like we just got no clue what's going on. However, as we move towards the end of the month and this energy sort of separates a little bit, although, with Mercury retrograde, Mercury's also going to be stationing to go direct in an opposition to Neptune, and this really clouds our judgment and our ability to perceive and see things clearly. So, in conjunction with Mercury retrograde energy this month, towards the end of the month, following the full moon, sort of the week following the full moon, building towards our new moon in Libra, probably not the best decision-making energy, and we'll get more into that as we sort of look at the weeks on their own a little bit more, but I wanted to bring that up front. And other than that, there is just this big theme, and I've been talking about it the last few days in my video, especially to start this month, of this fusion of energy going on between Mars, Mercury, and Jupiter, and it's pretty big time, and this is doing a lot of good positive stuff for us, and this energy is actually carrying through the first week and a half or so of the month. And this is like a whole bunch of different stuff. This is like big ideas that have potential to be very successful. This is like us having the courage and the assertiveness to really speak our mind about some stuff from a place of, a higher perspective or wisdom that really like helps things move in a positive direction for us. This is clearing up legal issues. This is clearing up like conflicts, things coming to a resolution, things coming just sort of to a state within us as well, bringing some inner harmony, bringing some optimism. This is a highly energized aspect. We're probably feeling pretty physically like exuberant and stuff at this point in time, especially to start the month of September. And this really is an influence that is kind of carrying through the course of the month, at least like up until the full moon around that point in time. Like I said, we are also going to be having Venus moving into Libra this month. We're going to be having a Mercury and Venus conjunction as well, because Mercury is going backwards and will make a conjunction to Venus. We also, you guys, are going to be having our second conjunction between Mercury and the Sun. So there's some themes that may have, or some things that may have started around the 16th or the 17th of July that may be coming up again for some type of reevaluation around the point in time where Mercury comes into conjunction with Sun. We'll talk about that as well. So, okay, I'm going to stop just sort of like throwing things out, bang, bang, bang. Like these are things that are generally coming at us, and let's get organized. Let's get on task in true nature of Virgo season and like try to break this down in a way that makes some type of logical, rational sense. Okay. First of all, general themes, like I said, a month where we are gaining clarity, standing in our truth, moving away from mindsets and situations that are not supportive of that. This is where there are so many retrograde planets this month, this cycle, you guys. We have all the outer planets retrograde from Jupiter to Pluto. We have Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and Chiron all retrograde, and Mercury's going to be going retrograde this month too. When planets are retrograde, energy is sort of turned inward, and this is a process of reevaluation, and we bring the different planetary themes in. We're talking about, Jupiter. This is really reevaluating our own level of trust and faith and belief in ourselves and our own personal truth in the sign of Aries. Saturn in the sign of Aquarius, reevaluating or restructuring the form of our own internal world, and therefore what our reality is going to look like when Saturn goes direct. We have, and then Uranus. This is internalized awakenings that are coming through that are really helping to shift and recalibrate our vibration in a way that is like putting us back on a proper course or trajectory in alignment with our authentic potential and our authentic growth. Neptune retrograde. This is like a recalibration or a reconfiguration of the way that we relate to our own spiritual nature and our own spiritual connection. And Pluto retrograde, this is an internalized process of transformation and purge on these very deep psychological levels, helping us to like dissolve attachments from the past that have been keeping us out of our power. Like all this going on right now. Chiron also retrograde. This is an internalized like process of healing and inner alchemization that is bringing us from a state of victimhood into a greater state of self-mastery based on transmuting and overcoming our lower experience and wisdom gained through experience, that type of stuff. And now we have Mercury about to go retrograde this month as well, which is talking about our thought processes and our mind, and like just really needing to reevaluate what we think about things, the choices that we've made, the decisions that are like on our plate at this point in time, the direction that we want to take things, the direction that we want to go. Mercury retrograde on top of it. So this month generally is just going to be about us across the board, like just reconfiguring, reevaluating, restructuring, making some different choices perhaps, like really just reconsidering what we want in our lives at this point in time, especially with Mercury ruling this cycle, ruling the mind in the sign of Libra, ruled by Venus, what we want, what we desire, what we love, what brings us pleasure, what makes us feel peace and harmony. So this month generally is likely to be a time where we are just sort of like changing perhaps, or realigning or reconsidering, like I've said a million times, what we actually want. And by the time that we get to the end of this month, we are really going to be putting in some energy to actively create that, to actively build that. So let's now talk about, that is generally what is coming throughout the course of this month. Clarity that is bringing us to some point or place or mindset or understanding where we're ready to make some choices, or where we've, come to a place where we're just much more like in a much more solidified place in terms of understanding what it is that we want and the direction that we want to take things and how we want to use our energy in a productive way going forward. So that being said, we do have a highly creative energy coming in this month. Highly creative. This is a very good month for actually starting new things. Even though Mercury is going retrograde, the things that we start at the beginning of the month will go through some type of reevaluation process. So whatever we're starting, whatever we're building, whatever we're creating, whatever we're growing at the beginning of this new moon and Virgo cycle, and as we start this month of September, we need to be adaptable. We need to sort of like, it needs to be like a little bit like open source, if you know what I mean. Like it needs to be moldable and malleable, because there's some changes. We're going to be learning something or gaining a different viewpoint or gaining an understanding or just some information or something's going to come to us in some type of way throughout this Mercury retrograde process that is going to cause some changes to need to go on to that original project, but it won't change the fact that in the end it's likely to still be very successful, because ventures, commercial, business, relationship, like things that are starting right now, things that we're putting energy into conceiving or creating in the energy right now because of Mars, Jupiter, and Mercury all working together in the sky, have a tendency of like paying off or having some type of success when they come into their more completed form. But with the Mercury retrograde this cycle, there's going to be some adjustments. So we just want to make sure that we are being adaptable to change. Now, in terms of the week by week breakdown, first of all, this first week of September, the 1st through the 7th, like this is some really great energy. This is sort of us being kind of like on top of our game. Like our mind should be very quick and sharp, even though we have Mercury slowing down, about to station and go retrograde on the 9th, like there's still, with the Mercury opposition to Jupiter going on and the trine to Mars, which is coming exact on the 2nd, this is a very like sharp, clear, like expanded viewpoint, positive mental energy that's coming through. We should be feeling pretty good. We should be feeling pretty inspired. This is also very creative. Again, this is very good energy for starting new things. This is great energy for like sales, for any type of legal things, anything that we need to argue, or any maybe perhaps like more difficult conversation that we need to have. This is really good energy to have it in, because with Mercury ruling this energy, ruling this cycle, and very much in this interplay of 3 planets right now in the sign of Libra, this is very much about us being like, our delivery being like very eloquent in one type of way or another, or being just received well, or being like less offensive, or less like it just comes off in a much nicer way when we have Mercury in the sign of Libra. This is like the gift of gab, and this is like very smooth speech and like charisma and charm. It just gives us an ability to be very assertive and very clear, but also like very charming in a way that's like, we might be delivering the same message as we would say like in another time, in another energy, but just because of the way that this energy is playing out, it's just likely to be perceived or received in a way that doesn't ruffle feathers and is more likely to lead to like actually giving you what you want. So like I said, like presentations, public speaking, sales pitches, legal arguments, like anything like that, this first weekend September, this past last few days in August as well, with this energy in effect, very, very, very supportive, very, very beneficial. Also conflict resolution, and it could also be bringing some sudden endings as well. But generally this first week of September, emotions may be running high. We do, and like our mind may be like a bit on fire. Like we may really have some things that we need to say or that we need to get out. We really may need to feel like we need to speak our mind about something with all of this expansive, fiery energy and a need to communicate. Things might be like blowing up in one way to some level, but the thing is, like, whatever blows up in the energy of the first week of September, it's likely to somehow have a positive impact or a positive resolution in one way or another. We may also want to, watch what we say a little bit as this first week of September is unfolding, especially if you have a lot of mercurial energy, Gemini, Virgo stelliums, ascendant, moon, because there's just like Mercury, the mind, what's coming out of our mouth is very fast, very fiery, very sharp, and very expanded. Although in the sign of Libra, it's also probably elegant and sweet and beautiful in one way or or another too. It's a very interesting dynamic that this is bringing up for us. But, we do want to be sure that we are not sort of like putting our foot in our mouth or saying, a little bit too much, giving away maybe more than we meant to, maybe, just do a little bit of self-checking as we go throughout this energy to make sure that we're not just like like a verbal like explosion that is like constantly going off. But other than that, this really is bringing in some strong problem-solving energy that we have going on the first week of September, and really moving through up through the full moon that we have on the 10th. Now, the second week of September, the 7th through the 14th, this is also a pretty positive week. Aside from our full moon, like, we do have the sun. The full moon itself, I'll tell you this, is going to be in a trine with Uranus, while we have this Mercury, Mars, Jupiter energy going on. So there could definitely be some very surprising things that are coming into fruition around the full moon. But again, it's trines. We have trines, you guys, going on this month, not squares like we had last month. We have the full moon happening in a trine and a sextile to Uranus, while the Mars, Jupiter, Mercury energy is in effect. We may be getting some big news that really shifts and changes things in a positive way for us. It might really surprise us. This may be some very unexpected energy. Plans, schedules, like routines, like may not be going according to plan, schedule, or routine in the energy building up to the 10th and around the full moon on the 10th. But realignments for the better are going to be happening around that time. This could be it's looking good, like figuring things out, reevaluating our plans and our vision for the future, making adjustments, and we should be feeling pretty positive, pretty good. There could be some like strokes of luck actually coming through with this as well, and some divine intervention that is just like putting things in a way that we're just like, wow, like feeling really good about this. Like things seem to be working out. Like, this is energy to me that is sort of helping things to seem to be working out. Now, it's not that it's not permanent, because we are about to start wading into some trickier waters as we leave the full moon energy and start moving through the rest of that week towards this third week that I've been talking about. There may be some things happening that sort of confuse us about maybe the direction that things have taken, or what we thought we understood, or whether or not, these ventures, or what we started, or what we created, or our mindset, or our perspective, or, the resolutions that we thought we had come to. There may be some confusion about the solidness, I guess you could say, of those situations that starts to sort of come into effect after we have the full moon playing out on the 10th. But generally, I mean, after the full moon, we do have some calmer energy. This is not the same, like, one thing after another vibe that we've been dealing with kind of like for the past 3 months-ish. The 12th, the 13th, even the 11th to the extent are a little bit calmer. Really, we just have this trine energy going on with Uranus, which puts things right, facilitates things. Things actually, they just should seem like they're kind of magically falling into place that second week of September and around the time of the full moon. Now, around the 14th, this is when things start to change, because we are going to have the sun in Virgo start to move into an opposition with Neptune in the sign of Pisces. We are also going to have Venus beginning to move into a square with Mars. And on the 14th, we're also going to have the moon coming into the conjunction with the North Node in Uranus. So there could be some emotional upsets or some surprising things that sort of happen around the 14th or the 15th that kind of disorient us a little bit, or maybe confuse us a little bit, or maybe bring in a sense of disappointment, maybe making us question our perception on things, like the clarity that maybe we thought that we arrived at. And remember, Mercury has gone retrograde as of the 10th, and so this Mercury retrograde energy is really kicking in too. And between this Sun, Neptune, maybe confusing things a little bit, maybe us wondering if we've been delusional about some things, and also this Mercury energy coming in, Mercury retrograde energy in the sign of Libra as well. This could definitely have to do with relationships or financial situations or pairs or partnerships or conversations that we've had, or just generally with the sun in Virgo as well, our mindset about things. We could really be questioning our mindset, really be feeling a bit confused. And with Mars and square to Venus aspect building as well, this could be playing into us maybe evaluating, what we want, like what it is we truly desire, what it is we're truly passionate about, and what we want to be putting our energy into pursuing, into going after. I could also be bringing up perhaps some conflicts in the creative pursuits that maybe, or the things that we've been trying to bring into fruition over this period of time as well. So by the 14th, this is sort of when we start maybe wading into a little bit more of the murky waters about things. Now the 15th, this is a pretty significant day because Venus is going to be coming into an exact square with Mars, while Mercury is in her sign of Libra. Mercury is going to be ruling the position of both Venus and Mars, as they will be in Gemini and Virgo. We're also going to have the moon in Taurus that day, forming a trine to Pluto. This actually could have something to do with resolving issues that have been going on within relationships or power dynamics. Pretty positive influence actually that we have coming in on the 15th, although this could also be creating conflict in our relationships. This could be bringing sort of power issues or struggles or conflicts in relationships to a head for some type of resolution. And then this is going to be carrying over onto the 16th as well. So the 15th and the 16th this month, we have Venus, Mars in a square. The moon is also going to be playing in that. On the 16th, actually, the moon is going to be in Gemini conjuncting Mars and square Venus as well. And we're also going to have the sun in the opposition to Neptune, while Mercury retrograde is in an opposition to Jupiter retrograde. So around the 15th, the 16th, this is when we really, really, really might start reconsidering our relationships, our goals, our dreams, our ideals, and what we value, what we want. Conflict in relationships over deception, perhaps, or false promises, seeing the truth about something, and also perhaps this could be hiding from the truth about something that is also maybe bringing up some issues, bringing up some conflicts. But definitely around the 15th or the 16th, things could be feeling a little bit tricky and just a little bit out of balance. By the time we get to the 17th, this is probably one of our most disorienting days of the month. The 17th, we don't know what's going on this day, most likely. The sun is coming into an exact opposition with Neptune. The moon will be in a square to the sun. Mars will be in a square to Venus, and Mercury will be in an opposition to Jupiter. This is just like interpersonal conflict, indecision, delusion. We could just be sort of not happy about stuff, thinking and talking about the past as well. There could be major themes of the past that are wrapped up on this, and like us viewing it from a new perspective. The sun in Virgo opposite Neptune and Pisces. This, we want to be really, really careful. This is not the time, you guys, this third week of September, especially 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, not the time to be like signing contracts, like signing deals. I mean, we've got Mercury retrograde as well. So this is not the time to be really doing any of that type of stuff anyways. But like even like major purchases and just like major commitments, getting into relationships, God, no, do not, you guys, do not try and get into a relationship that third week of September, because I'm telling you, it is not going to end well. It is going to end in some type of heartbreak or some type of disappointment. It might really show you something. It might really teach you something about yourself. It might open your eyes to something about yourself in some type of way, but it is just not going to ultimately go to a place of like happiness, peace, and balance in the energy this week. The 18th also, we have another cardinal T-square going on. We'll be in Black Moon energy. The moon, Mercury, and Jupiter are all going to be forming exact square to each other. This could bring up some big decisions or conflicts regarding the home, regarding the family, things coming to a head. But ultimately, you guys, though, with all this Libra energy and Mercury and Libra, this is conflict resolution. Like I've been saying, like, that's the good thing about this month. And with all these trines operating and stuff, it's like, yes, we do have these issues going on for sure. And a lot of it, I feel like, has to do with like choices and decisions. And again, this internalized like recalibration and reevaluation that's going on. Like, what do I even want anymore? You know what I mean? That's sort of like the vibe that we're going through all this month, throughout this entire month. But by the time we get to the end of it, we should have a much better understanding of where we want to put our energy, what is we truly value, what we're truly passionate about, and what decisions that we need to make going into this new moon in Libra cycle, like I said, which is a cardinal cycle, which is an action-oriented moon phase, which is when, things are going to start happening. We're going to start like making those actual choices and decisions. But for the most part, that is really what we are coming to terms with all this retrograde energy. throughout the course of this month. Yeah, the 18th, we've got this cardinal square going on. And then the 19th as well, we've got Sun in Virgo coming into an exact trine with Pluto. So transforming and realigning things. We've also got Mercury in opposition to Jupiter exactly that day. And on that day as well, we've got Venus in an exact trine to Uranus. The 19th, this is where stuff sort of gets like, whatever started to maybe give us some issues around the 14th, by the time we get to the 19th, this is sort of getting resolved for us. Transformation, realignment, opening our eyes about things again, although Mercury is retrograde. So this is where we're, maybe like through this reevaluation process, really coming to a point where we are starting to understand, what we've missed or what it is. This could also be bringing up some things from the past that are being transformed and resolved or realigned right now, like put right. People, relationships for sure, financial situations, interactions and stuff with people from the past around the 19th, maybe coming back up again for some type of transformation or realignment to put the connection or the relationship or just like the dynamic right in some type of way. But this could definitely have to do with the state of our partnerships, the state of the relationships, and this Venus-Mars energy, like the square, like some type of breakdown that may have happened or confusion, or this is just helping to realign things in a way that is serving the reconsideration of what's going on in our heart, what we really want that is happening. The 20th and the 21st, not too much going on, but as we move through the 21st through the 28th, let's see. This is also really a week about reconsidering what it is that's going on. Whatever happened on the 19th is sort of like opening us back up and helping us to come back to the state of resolution. It's like whatever started happening on the 14th, by the 19th, things are realigning themselves in a way that is helping us to understand something better, or just that is making more sense in terms of like what we want to happen. This is actually getting things back on track in terms of how the month started and what we are wanting to happen. Now, moving towards the last week of September, the 20th and the 21st, we don't have too much going on, but then coming into this last week of September, this is sort of a throwback week. We have Mercury backing into the sign of Virgo. So this is going to be bringing up some of the stuff that we were dealing with while Mercury was going through his original transit of Virgo. But on the 22nd, starting on the 22nd, we actually have Mercury and the Sun coming back into a conjunction, an exact conjunction because of Mercury's retrograde process. And this is going to throw us back to things that were happening around the 16th and the 17th of July when Mercury and the Sun made their last cazimi, their last exact conjunction. So things that started happening around the 16th, the 17th, that week in July may be coming up again in some type of a way around the 22nd of September for some type of redo, reevaluation, reconsideration, something like that. Then on the 23rd of September, the Sun is moving into Libra while Mercury is simultaneously backing into the sign of Virgo. And we also have Venus coming into an exact opposition with Neptune. Now, Venus and Neptune in aspect to each other, this is actually always, like, regardless of the aspect, triggering some type of like high heart energy. Neptune is actually a higher octave of the Venus energy. And when we have these two working together, this is like a very high, like I said, like high octave, like unconditional love-based spiritual, like compassion, empathy, energy. But it also is Venus and Neptune, like reflecting on the truth of our ideals. Like what do we really fantasize about? Like what are our fantasies? What are our ideals? What is it that, our heart truly wants in the context of all this retrograde energy and having the Sun and Mercury just conjoin again, and Mercury moving into the sign of Virgo. Like this is definitely, again, putting an emphasis on this reconsideration, this reevaluation, this taking into consideration things have happened in the past, really thinking about it, and coming to a more evolved understanding and alignment with that which is truly in our heart. And during this process as well, we also have Mars building into a trine with Saturn. Now, Mars and trine to Saturn, this is actually excellent energy for any type of like constructive work effort, for putting our energy into things in a way that is focused, constructive, practical, successful, and long-lasting, enduring, and pays off. Mars and Saturn in harmonious aspect together, like this creates the most, this is just like very creative energy. It creates like very, very good like feats of labor, feats of work and stuff like that. And with this energy building in, while we have all this reevaluation energy and things coming back up from the past and Venus and Neptune, I feel like this is us going through this process of reevaluation, going through this internal like reconfiguration and calibration, and really reflecting on what it is that we truly, truly wish for, desire, like in our heart of hearts. And then simultaneously, this like energy within us that is building, that is bringing us to a point where we're actually going to start taking some action to make that happen in our physical reality, with Mars in the trine to Saturn, reevaluating our ideals, very much so building in. And then we have our new moon coming up on the 25th of September, the new moon in Libra, and it's going to be in an opposition to Jupiter. This is going to be a very, very inspired new moon period where we are feeling like very self-motivated to pursue what it is that we truly desire in the sign of Libra. This is also going to be doing some really good things probably for relationships and for finances and for, again, these creative endeavors or these projects, because, you know, we're in the process simultaneously of like realizing what we really want with Mars and Saturn. Like, we've got the energy, we've got the work ethic, we've got the concentration, the force to be able to go after it. And with the new moon happening in opposition to Jupiter in the sign of Libra, there's like, we're feeling very much so at peace with taking a risk to do something, to launch off in a new direction, to get what we want. So, and to rebalance things. This is, again, like very good for relationships, very good for finances and stuff like that as well. And then following that, on the 26th, this is actually another really big day. We're going to have the Sun and Jupiter coming into an exact opposition, simultaneously Venus and Mercury in an exact conjunction. There's going to be a grand trine and air signs going on between the Moon, Saturn, and Mars. And this Venus-Mercury conjunction is going to be an exact trine to Pluto as well. Like, this is energy following our new moon. This is like the truth will set you free energy. This is where we are like very, very much filled up and inspired and motivated with our own like faith, trust, confidence, belief in ourselves. Mercury and Venus together, because we know what we want. Like, we know what we want, and then this grand trine and air signs, and we know how to make it happen between Mars, Saturn, and the moon. Like, there is just this internalized drive to create what we want in an expansive way, and we're confident to take the risk to make it happen because it's what we truly want. It's what makes us happy. It's what fulfills our desires, really. Also, with the new moon happening right now in the sign of Libra. Libra, it was ruled by Venus. It's what we want, what we desire, what we like, what we enjoy, what gives us pleasure. It's also relationships and finances and just like material comforts and stuff like that as well. Beauty, art, music. It's a very, very, very creative and artistic period of time as well, with the new moon happening in the opposition to Jupiter. This is expanded creative energy. And with the grand air trine as well coming in the next day following the new moon, this is a tremendous ability to take ideas and form them into concrete reality through some very passionate, hard work. It's really, really beautiful, in alignment with knowing what we want. Mercury and Venus together, also in the sign of Virgo, this earth sign, making things happen, going after what we want, feeling courageous and inspired and motivated and trusting ourselves in order to, again, like bring us what we want. This is all very connected. I'm actually really looking forward to talking about a lot of this astrology as it's playing out in my dailies, because there's just some very interesting lineups that are coming in this cycle, and it's with less conflict. Like, just a lot of very facilitating energy that should be creating some positive changes and momentum for us going throughout the course of this cycle. By the time that we get to the 28th, let's see, what do we have? This is our exact Mars in Gemini trining Saturn in Aquarius energy. By the time we get to the 28th, we've gone through our full moon, we've gone through our new moon, Mercury's gone retrograde. Mercury is actually moving to the degree where he is going to be going direct. So Mercury is not even technically moving retrograde anymore. Like, we have gone through our reevaluations. We are preparing to sort of start moving forward. We are now in our cardinal Libra cycle, and we have Mars and Saturn coming into a trine. We've realized what we want, and we are working towards it. We are working to make it happen. And then the 29th, we have Venus moving into the sign of Libra, while Mars and Saturn are still in this trine together. Mercury retrograde is going to be in an opposition to Neptune. The moon is going to be in a trine to Neptune. Highly, highly, highly creative, inspired energy to close out our month of September. So we are starting the month in some very inspired energy to sort of speak our mind, like, go after or pursue our ideas, make some plans and really make it happen. There may be some conflicts that come up to start this month because we did have the sun in the square to Mars, actually the new moon in the square to Mars, and that is the energy that we're carrying into September. But with the month starting with the Mars, Jupiter, Mercury energy going on, this is big news, big ideas, like positive outcomes to situations, feeling very energized and inspired, sort of, like I said, on top of our game, very quick mind. And then we go through this full moon cycle where we are figuring things out and they seem to be coming into place. And we are, yes, we are starting to reevaluate, and yes, we are starting to reconsider, but things are making more sense and they seem to be sort of falling into place. And then we go through this period where maybe not, maybe we're reconsidering things, maybe everything is not as, just streamline as I thought it was. Maybe there are some adjustments that need to be made. We head into this adjustment period through the middle, that week period of time, the 14th specifically through the 19th of the month of September, where we may just feel disoriented, confused, like what we thought we understood is not. There may be like conflicts coming up in relationships or financial issues. And this is pushing us, though, the purpose of this period of time this month is pushing us to really begin this process of reconsidering across the board what it is that we prioritize, what it is that we value, what it is that we want. And then we come into this period over the last week of September where we are connecting some dots, or things from the past are coming back up in a way that is making more sense to us, and really even pushing us even more so on this process of reconsidering what it is we want, what it is that we desire. And we're arriving at some type of clarity, though. Like, we're coming to some type of truth. Like, we're starting to get a better grasp on who we really are, like, and just become much more clear about the way that we want to take things going forward, to a point where we are feeling almost like the truth will set us free, and, you know, coming back into this place of authentic alignment in a way that is helping us to peacefully detach, actually, from some of the things that are no longer supportive of that process. Then we are moving into this Mars-Saturn energy, this highly, highly, highly creative energy, as we are moving through the new moon and moving towards the end of the month. So it's like the clarity that we are coming to, the decisions that we are making, the mindsets that we are arriving at, like the prioritizations in terms of our values and what we want and what we desire, are becoming much more like solidified in our consciousness. We are really, really gaining a tremendous grasp on what it is that we actually want, what will make us truly happy, and what needs to go in order to like fulfill that process, and also what we need to be putting our energy into in order to make that happen. And then as we move through the rest of the month, we are actually starting to create it. This is a process where this whole month is bringing us into contact with experiences that are pushing us to rediscover what it is that we really want, what it is that will make us truly happy. And we are standing in that clarity by the time that we get to the end of the month, and really cutting ourselves away from moving in a new direction, away from that which is not supportive of that process. And simultaneous to that, we are really beginning to put some energy into restructuring and rebuilding our path ahead, so that it can represent what it is that we have discovered that we want throughout this period of time. There could be relationship breakdowns going on for sure, with the square between Venus and Mars that we have going on that week, and also the sun in opposition to Neptune. However, as I said in my new moon report, conflict resolution, things coming back together in a way that is more peaceful and balanced. And it's like, even if they don't, this is energy where everyone walks away happy, okay? Or maybe not necessarily happy, but there is some type of resolution or some type of state of peace, peace or harmony that is arrived at the end of whatever battles or conflicts we are dealing with throughout the course of this cycle. Like I was saying in another video I did recently, this is energy where it's like we both are able to acknowledge the fact, like in a relationship or a partnership or any type of interpersonal dynamic like that, like that's just not working for us. And it's like we're both sort of being our best selves in the process of coming to terms with this. And then like, yes, we may be ending something, we may be cutting ties, it may be happening quickly, it may be happening unexpectedly, but we're both, and we may not be happy about it, but it's like, the way that it's ultimately happening is happening in a way that is not disrupting anyone's peace, and like no one is like particularly scorned about the outcome of it, I guess, is sort of where this is going and what a good way of describing this energy. So that is really, you know, what we're looking at as we head towards the end of this month. I mean, it's interesting as well, even starting September 1st to start this month, the sun is coming to 10 degrees of Virgo in the sky. That Sabian symbol is two heads looking out and beyond the shadows. And with all this Mars Gemini energy and all this two like polarities, divisions, like schisms and things that we may have going on to begin our month, these are also trying to be bridged back together, but this is talking about two heads looking out and beyond the shadows. This is a period of time where we are gaining this higher perspective. We are being able to see things from multiple viewpoints. And because of that, we are being able to arrive at some type of solution that is beneficial to all, and looking out and beyond the shadows as well. It's like we may be going through a period of time this cycle where we are sort of in a fog that third week or lacking clarity, but ultimately we are going to be looking out and beyond the shadows, and from this multidimensional viewpoint that we are coming to, being able to see things more clearly in the end. We also have the Earth on September 1st to start our month at 10 degrees of Pisces. That Sabian symbol is an aviator in the clouds. So again, like we may need to be sort of navigating some more confusing energy with Mercury retrograde and the Neptune oppositions that we have going on this month, but we are navigating it. We are an aviator in the clouds, and we are making our way through, and we are cutting through the fog. We are cutting through the like inability to see, the confusion, and we are doing it again from this higher viewpoint, from this higher perspective. Everything this month is playing into us being able to operate from a place of conscious awareness, as opposed to a place of like our more like ego dominated, ego instinct, ego urges, emotional programming. Okay, like this is about us, and that's a lot of the interplay that has been playing out with this Gemini Virgo square between the sun and the moon, of our new moon and Mars. Like this energy is pushing us actually to sort of detach from our ego and come to a place of more like conscious awareness in our decision making as we go throughout the course of this month, with Mercury and Jupiter in oppositions, all the Jupiter oppositions that we have going on, especially for our Virgo cycle, and moving like towards the Libra cycle. This is definitely helping to, Jupiter expands things. Jupiter brings truth. Jupiter brings wisdom and just a higher perspective and justice as well. This is helping us to have a more fair, honest overall viewpoint on things, which is helping ultimately to resolve things. And it has a lot to do with us changing our mind about a lot of stuff in regards to the past as well, that is playing out throughout the course of this cycle, and really deciding, coming to a point of understanding what we want and knowing what we need to do practically, where we need to put our energy to make that happen. So that is what I have to say, you guys, for our September overview, what we have coming essentially throughout the course of this month. I am going to grab us a synchronicity card now to ask God, Spirit, Universe a piece of advice that we might want to keep in mind over the course of this month, and what just something that may give us a little bit of clarity about what it is, just helping us out in one way or another, I guess we could say. What do we need to keep in mind? What do we need to know? What is a good mindset for us? What is just a piece of advice? And we've got one flying on the floor. Okay, and it says obstructions removed. And that honestly, like I was saying, that is how I'm feeling about this month. Like we don't have all these squares playing out. We are in trines, we are in facilitating energy. Like things are being realigned, like things are sort of falling into place. Like yes, we may get a little bit caught up, like there's an adjustment period. That's what I'll say. There's definitely an adjustment period, but for the most part, I do feel like this is a cycle where obstructions are being removed. It says, "Rest in me, I have gone ahead and removed every stone. God has gone before you and removed every obstacle. Any obstacle you now perceive is a product of your own imagination." And with all this Neptune opposition, Neptune rules the imagination. Let's not imagine chaos for ourselves the third week, okay? Let go and let God lead you. There is no wrong action. There is only right action. Follow the leads which come to you. So obstructions removed, you guys. That is the message from universe in the context of what is going on this month. That is also, honestly, I also asked God, universe, spirit to give me a tarot card, just one tarot card to describe the energy of the month of September. And I got the King of Swords with the Six of Swords on the back of the deck, and that is also obstructions removed, but it's obstructions removed through this gaining of clarity that is coming through, us standing in our power, us not allowing ourselves to be manipulated or to be controlled on a mental level or anyway. This is a alignment with authentic truth that is very self-empowering, that is allowing us to slice ourselves away from the things from the past, the ideas of the past, the attachments of the past, the mindsets of the past that have not been supporting of our growth and our truth and our authenticity and our potential. And we are heading in a new direction, you guys, starting with this Libra new moon cycle coming up this month. So that is what I have to say today, you guys. September in a nutshell. I hope that that was kind of easy to understand. I feel like I was a little bit all over the place, but anyways, I hope you guys liked it. I hope that it was beneficial to you guys in some type of way. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would be interested in knowing what's going on over the month of September on an astrological level too. Leave me comments, you guys. I absolutely love your comments. I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. You're all my favorite. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social media stuff in my description box below. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We will be doing our regular astrological outlook of the day, and I will be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you then. Everybody have a beautiful first day of September, and until tomorrow, bye guys.